And I think everybody here who's been involved in any of these roundtable processes or aligned processes will recognize the level of alignment there in that framework. Even though they're not a roundtable, I think the process that they're following is robust. It looks robust to an outsider. We are going to be involved in those consultations, and all of our other roundtable members will be welcome to be involved in that consultation. So I'd urge you to get involved if the Australian industry is in some way relevant to you. It's great news, and we can't all be the same, and it's far more important to make progress than to nitpick over exactly how you make progress. So, thanks a lot, Andrew. I'd like to open the floor to questions. I know I've got some myself, but I'd first like to ask you guys. I see one straight away there, so if we've got a mic.
Hi, thanks. Testing, there we go. Erin Garlock with the Canadian Roundtable for Sustainable Crops. Your work is really inspirational. Wow. When I look at what we're trying to achieve in the cropping sector, vis-a-vis sustainability at the national level, and I've got two questions for you I think that inform some of what we're working on. And one is around, what do you tell your ranchers when they talk about the idea of attaching a premium to some of these sustainable practices? So that's a question that we commonly get from farmers is, yeah, I'll do it, but are you going to pay me more to do it? So that's one piece. We often respond something along the lines of market access issues potentially if you don't make your operations more sustainable. And then the other question is around market pull. So I look at where the cropping sector is in relation perhaps to livestock and beef. And are you responding now, do you feel, largely around market pull, what you're seeing from consumers? Because I don't know that we're seeing it to the same extent in the cropping sector, and that may be why, especially in Canada, we're a little slower to do some of what you've accomplished, especially in the US, tremendous in a year, really, to get to the point that you are right now. And so how important was that for you in identifying that market pull, especially with the producers and ranchers that are participating in these programs? Thanks.
Great, thanks for the question. Who would like to go for the market access and the market pull? Nicole?
I can give my thoughts, and then Fawn, maybe that would be a good one for you too. I think it's really important to be candid with each other about this process and about what's driving this process, and not make false promises to the producers who are participating in it and who have put their businesses on the line in order to participate. I think if we promise premiums and then we make claims that it's a consumer-driven effort and it's somehow a market pull, I think that's terribly risky. Our producers, we need to demonstrate a value proposition for each of our members, not only the producer members, but all of our members need to understand a value proposition for participating in the effort, and it's going to be different for everyone. We do have some members who believe that there's going to be business opportunity for them by participating, and I think that's wonderful. If there's a way for people to create business opportunity and drive sustainability at the same time, they should do that, and I will help. We have members who are part of the NGO community who are not participating in this effort because they think it's going to drive profits for someone. They have other goals that they want to achieve, and we value those goals just as well. Producers have concerns about costs, for sure. And we talk a lot about costs. We talk very frankly about costs. I have told them that when I ask you to incur costs, when I come to you and I say this is going to be cost and we are asking you, the producer, to incur it, then absolutely at that moment that's a good time to ask me how you're going to be compensated for those costs. But if I'm asking you to participate in some information sharing, if I'm asking you to learn and listen, I'm not sure that that's an appropriate time to be asking for premiums, right? I mean, this effort is about more than premiums. It's about more than profit. It's not about profit. But honesty is really important. How can we have trust among our members if we aren't honest with them about what they should expect from this process? So tough talk, I would say, and not necessarily the answer that everyone wants to hear. But we have had significant participation from producers in the U.S., despite the fact that we've been really candid about what we think. I think that they believe that there's other value for them in participating in this process. Shaping it, making sure that it comes out in a way that works for them, I think is a value as well. I'm looking to the Cattlemen's Association team because I suspect that they might want to amend my answer, and that's all right too.
Fawn, would you like to?
Sure, I think it's fine.
Yeah, you're all right.
Yeah, speak up.
Okay, great. Can't hear myself. I think, agree very much so with Nicole, and it is a really important conversation. We have seen other products. The margin is in the adjective, right? I think that was this morning is how do we ensure that our end goal of sustainability doesn't get distracted by other efforts, or that we are achieving what we all want to around sustainability in an economically viable way. And I think that we're all going to see different approaches. So with our sustainability assessment that we talked about this morning, no, there's not a margin attached to that or a benefit attached to that. That's going to benefit all of us. With our verification framework that's being developed in Canada, well, maybe, but let's not make any promises that we're not entirely sure we can keep. We know that that is going to cost, and if there is value in that, I think that we're going to see it move forward. I think that no matter what, we need to be doing something on this conversation, and that's what's driven people to participate. It's not the benefit of an extra dollar at the end of the day. It's the drive to continually improve and to be able to communicate what we're doing. And maybe there are differences in between the crop conversation and the beef conversation in Canada. In Canada, we need to be addressing beef sustainability right now and be as proactive as possible and make sure that we're addressing it in a sustainable manner, I suppose. And so perhaps there is a little bit more drive that we don't need that guarantee of an extra dollar on the table. But certainly if there is, we'll talk about that too in the future.
Thanks. Yeah, Francisco?
Yeah, I just want to add some point of view from Brazil. Brazil is quite a little bit different because the gap that we have in terms of production between the average and the good practices is too big, it's 10 times big. In Mato Grosso, we have a very good production, and they produce between 4 and 5 arrobas. It's going to be 60 to 75 kilograms of carcass per hectare per year. It's the average. But when you look at the potential that we have, we are talking about 450 kilograms per hectare per year. So we are always talking to the producers that sustainability is just a step ahead. We don't need to focus on the top, but what could be the next step that you could do to improve your system and at the same time be more sustainable? Because in terms of environmental needs that we have, mainly in recovering riparian areas or things like this, they must do a lot of investment. Yeah. And this kind of investment must come from the production. So if I show to them that they can produce more at the same area and have money to comply the law, they follow us, they go with us. So this is a very good approach to have demonstration units and to talk with them about their earning and what they can do with this kind of earning in terms of sustainability.
Exactly. And we saw that when we visited in 2014.
Jim, I think one of the takeouts from David Hughes's talk this morning was that there may not be a premium in the marketplace. Yeah. It's a license to operate. But in Ireland, when we talk to farmers about what we're doing, we talk about building preference because as a beef exporting country, we realise that we have to compete very, very hard. And I think the connection with the marketplace is about perhaps building preference. I think the other aspect of it, which is very legitimate, is that people, ask about what is about financial sustainability, and there has to be a living in it for everybody that participates. But I think what Francisco was saying, I think, is important as well, is that by adopting more sustainable practices, there is the scope to improve efficiency, and we saw examples of that yesterday. Yeah. So there is a reward, a financial reward there to assist that, but it mightn't be simply in terms of a premium from the marketplace.
Right, and I know that you've also developed tools that help producers to actually earn more by being more efficient. Okay. So we can move on to another question, Katie, over here.
Yeah, hi, Carlos from WWF, and I'm going to direct my question to Fawn. Fawn, first, my hat's off for the great work that you did for the sustainability assessment. I think it goes by the old say that you don't manage what you don't measure, right? And now you know where you are. You know what is your baseline, and now you know how better you can get. So congratulations, fantastic. I think it sets the example for all the roundtables, even for the global roundtable. But my question is, how to now become actionable about the measurements that you made and the footprints that now you have. For instance, if you look at the water footprint, you show, I think, 600 and something liters of water per kilo of beef, and that's the average, right? So probably there's a bell-shaped curve there, and you have producers that are doing that with 300, and you have producers that probably are using 900 or 1,000 liters of water. So how to identify those that are below the average so you can help them to improve their numbers so you can move the average up?
Yeah, so through our sustainability strategy, we identify a number of different goals and then action items underneath that. So how we can specifically identify those producers, I suppose I'd have to think a little bit more about that, but broader to our strategy for driving good practice in riparian health and reducing the water footprint. Our number one action item is to enhance producer riparian health knowledge and tools to improve riparian health. And so, one of the groups that we heard from yesterday is called Cows and Fish. There's also a group in British Columbia called FRISP. There's groups in other provinces in Canada that are doing some really great work in further enabling our producers to deliver best practice on their landscapes. And so I think what we can do with those groups is with the people who are sitting around the roundtable is, can we turn the volume up on those? On the work that they're doing? Can we give them more dollars so that they can have broader impact? And I think that that's going to be some of the really exciting work that's going to come out of this, is how now do we further communicate that. We do actually, at the roundtable, we do have one project underway today, and that is working with a group called Multisar, as well as with Cows and Fish. And Multisar, what they do is they do habitat assessments and biodiversity assessments with producers, and then identify ways that they can further enhance habitat delivery on their operations. And so I think that this has really opened up a doorway to the collaboration that can happen, because people want to do the right thing, whether it's at the packing plant or whether it's at retail and food service on food waste, or whether it's at the production side, is if we can just identify those areas and turn the volume up on them, I think that we're going to see really good progress. So thank you, and I'll think about how we're going to identify those producers who we need to kick in the butt.
Thanks, Fawn. I'm conscious that lunchtime has arrived, but if there are pressing questions, we could take one more. If not, we've got one more indeed, so let's take that one and then I'll wrap up.
Sorry for everyone to give you my question. I guess my question is for Francisco. with the least efficient producers in Brazil that you have, the ones that you have more room for improvement, that obviously requires a lot of, or some funding so they can improve their management practice and everything. What is the challenge on that? How is this work in Brazil? Is that being publicly funded, or is it public and private partnership? Just to understand a little bit better about that challenge.
Okay. We think that we have two big challenges for GAP, good agricultural practices adoption in Brazil. The first one is it's money. Financing this adoption, it's not easy, it's not cheap, but we have a rural credit in Brazil, official rural credit, that we are working on to improve access from producers to this rural credit, and inside this, I'm talking about also the ABC plan and everything of these, but we still don't have right answer. We are working on this. We are working together with Banco do Brasil, Santander, Rabobank that was here with us, everybody that are partners in GTPS. We are working with them. But also at the same time, we are working on to have innovative models for financing. And one example, and sorry again, but I'm going to talk about home. One good example that we have is at Novo Campo program, when impact funding from Europe, the Altilia Climate Fund, puts money in the Novo Campo to loan money to the producers, and they must pay it back. It's not a donation anymore. And they can implement GAP and, at their ranges and pay it back the money, and everything is going okay. So it's something totally new, totally different, and we can talk more about it, how it works. But we are looking also to different perspectives. And the other point is the technical assistance. The producers will not do this without technical assistance. And if you put money without technical assistance, the probability to lose this money is it's bigger than. So we are working on both sides from GTPS.
Great. Thanks very much. So that brings us to the end of the session. I'll first give you information about lunch, which is here next door in the Van Horn Ballroom C. And the breakout sessions will begin promptly at 1:15. And the information as to where each of those sessions is in your program, which is in your packet. But could we please now thank everybody who's given us their time. Thank you. Thanks very much.